So today we're going to talk about muscle fitness, which is chapter 5 in your book. Again, hopefully you've already read your textbook and you've reviewed the chapter before watching this lecture. So like usual, I'm just going to kind of pick out different pieces that I find to be very important for this chapter and discuss them with you. So first of all, muscle fitness, there's 4 different terms that you really need to know. So the muscle force, muscle endurance, muscle power, and muscle strength. Muscle force is the effort that it requires to overcome resistance. Muscle endurance is the ability to sustain that effort for a prolonged period of time. Then muscle strength is the ability to generate maximal force against resistance. And then the muscle power is the ability to exert optimal force rapidly. So I've given you 4 different photos on the first slide, which is someone doing bench press, someone doing push-ups, someone shoveling snow, and someone throwing a baseball. Muscle force, so effort required to overcome resistance. What would you think that would be? I want you to just kind of take this time to kind of think about which ones they might be, and we'll talk about those. So doing bench press, you have to overcome resistance, right? So we're overcoming resistance, but it's also maximal resistance. So you can add on more weight and you can max out. What we like to talk about is your 1 max rep, and that would be maximal effort against resistance, which is muscle strength. And then the photo below that is a man doing push-ups. So push-ups, you're overcoming resistance, so you're overcoming gravity of your body weight. So that would be muscle force. So effort required to overcome resistance would be a push-up. Then you have someone throwing a baseball. If you throw a baseball, then you know that you have to throw it hard and you have to throw it fast most of the time if you're trying to get somebody out or if you're pitching. So that would be maximal force rapidly, which is muscle power. So muscle power would be someone throwing a baseball, softball, things like that. And then you have the one in the top right corner, which would be someone shoveling snow. If you've ever shoveled snow, it is not fun, and you start to sweat and you're cold, and that's because you are sustaining an effort for a prolonged period of time, because shoveling snow is not quick and it is not easy. So you have to do that for a prolonged period of time. So those are your 4: muscle force, muscle power, muscle strength, and muscle endurance. Then you have 3 different types of muscle. So you have skeletal muscle, cardiac muscle, and smooth muscle. Obviously, your cardiac muscle is your heart. Your heart is a muscle. Then you have skeletal muscle, which is the muscle throughout your body. And then smooth muscle is actually muscle in the lining of your organs that help them contract. So like a lining in your stomach or your intestines that contracts to help digest the food. So in this series, I do what I like to call facts. So there are over how many skeletal muscles in your body? Sifting through all of those, the answers are right there: 500, skeletal weight, muscle, 35 to 45%. Typically, muscle stretches from one bone to another bone, which crosses a joint. And whenever it crosses a joint, then that becomes a tendon. And ligaments connect bone to bone. So I've given you a picture there. You should be able to tell. You have your anterior cruciate ligament, which is your ACL, and then on the back side you have your LCL. So you should be able to tell tendon to ligament in those photos. So more fast facts, like what is the largest skeletal muscle in your body? That's going to be your butt, your gluteus maximus. Smallest skeletal muscle is called the stapedius, which is a small muscle in your ear. Longest skeletal muscle, that is going to be the sartorius, which stretches across from your hip to your knee, basically. And then the strongest skeletal muscle is going to be your jaw. So the strongest muscle that we have in our body is actually the jaw, which is called the masseter. Throughout our body with muscles, there are 2 different types of muscle, which is slow twitch and fast twitch muscle. Fast twitch cannot become slow twitch, and slow twitch cannot become fast twitch. We have 2 different types of twitch muscles for a reason. So slow twitchers, your endurance running, your 5K, your bicycling, your kayaking, your whatever it is, endurance wise, shoveling snow, whatever it may be. And then your fast twitch muscles are the things that help you with speed. So being able to run, power, hitting a volleyball, rebounding, powering off of a block, all of those things would be your fast twitch muscle. Okay, and this is one that I've heard so much. In fact, my boyfriend Cody just said it the other day, and I had to correct him. Working out miss, fat does not turn to muscle. That is not something that happens. They are two completely different entities. Fat basically sits on top of muscle, so it covers it up like a little blanket or security blanket, however you want to look at it. But fat does not turn to muscles. They're two different things. So you can lose fat and then you see more muscle, which is how it works. Just like fast twitch cannot turn into slow twitch muscles. The average time for you to gain muscle, if you're consistently doing what you're supposed to do, is 6 to 8 weeks. It could take longer for different people. If you're not as motivated and you're not doing what you're supposed to do, it will take longer. So please be aware that if you put in the time and you put in the effort, you will see the results. But you do have to put in the time and you do have to put in the effort. Just because you go to the gym does not mean that you should go to cookout right afterwards. You're not going to see results if you do that. If you go to the gym, please be aware that abs are made in the kitchen and not in the gym. So if you're looking to be super fit, then eating things healthy like avocado, apples, your lean meats, things like that, which we'll talk about in the nutrition chapter of this course. Benefits of muscle fitness, there's so many benefits. So one, you control your body weight, you feel healthier, improved performance. There's always a reduced risk of injury and disease when you're talking about these things. So if you're being physically fit and you're working on your muscles, you're going to reduce your risk. And you also just feel better. A lot of people say when you look good, you feel good. Well, that's exactly what it is. If you feel like you look good and you feel confident, then you're going to feel good. So when you're putting together a program, make sure that you're choosing the appropriate equipment and facilities for you. Oftentimes, gym memberships can get expensive, CrossFit's expensive. So alternatives like internet workouts, Beachbody's not as expensive as people think it is. I have a Beachbody membership and I pay $99 a year for that, for full access for all programs. But I don't do Shakeology. Excuse me. I'm not a coach and I don't do Shakeology, but just for my membership alone, it's like $99 for full program access, which is really all I need for at-home workouts, where you can do those workouts in the gym if you want to. I can't jump up and down because I live in an apartment on the 3rd floor, so that would be inappropriate. But I do go to the gym and I do those workouts, whatever you feel like is appropriate for you. But I do think it's worth checking out if you don't want to do a gym membership, or you feel like you want to get going first for at-home workouts. It's the best way to go, for me anyways. There are 3 main types of muscle training. So you have static, isokinetic, and dynamic. Excuse me. The static is there's no change in length, so you're not really extending anything. You're just kind of holding something right where it is. So you're not lengthening a muscle up and down. You're just kind of holding it. So an example of that would be a plank. Holding a pull-up, that would be an example. Holding lateral raises up, that would be an example. Where you're just static, you're just holding that motion, you're not actually extending anything. Isokinetic, that's a constant force or speed, so consistently doing it at a certain speed or force. And then dynamic is exerted throughout the whole contraction, so you're slowly going up and down to dynamic or contract that muscle. 2 different types of contractions when lifting. There's concentric and eccentric. Concentric is the muscle shortens, and then the eccentric is muscle lengthens. Slow eccentric contractions are the better way to go. Faster contractions would be more for athletes versus average individual like you and I. When doing muscle fitness, it's important to remember what reps and sets are, because muscle fitness means typically that you are engaging in some sort of lifting activity. So, just to clarify, reps are the number of times that you do it in one go. So, say I'm going to do bench press, and say I do 12 reps. That means I'm going to bench press 12 times in a row. And then sets are the number of times that you do that. So reps make up a set. So 12 reps would be one set. Say I do it 3 times. So I do my 12 reps. Okay, that's one set. I take a 30-second break. I come back. I do another set of 12. Take another 30-second break. Come back. Do my third set of 12. Pretty straightforward. If you're looking to gain muscle strength, then you should be doing less than 6 reps, 2 to 6 sets. That's up to you. Power, 75 to 95% of your maximum weight, 1 to 5 reps, 3 to 5 sets. If you're looking for muscle endurance, you should do probably 50% of your max, more than 12 reps, 2 to 3 sets. And then I've given you a kind of a diagram of all the different muscles in your body that you have that you should be working. My number one thing, and guys like to do this a lot, and girls kind of do it too, you need to work your full body. You can't just work your upper half and not expect to have chicken legs. So you need to work your whole entire body, making sure that you are fit in all aspects if you're going to do it. Also in arms, if you work your front, make sure you work your back. So most people forget that your abs are a trunk. They're all the way around. So your lower back is a part of your abs, and you need to work your back. If you get your back stronger, I guarantee you that you're going to have better stability, and you might even have abs showing. So make sure that you're working your back, not just your lats, but all the way down your back, from deltoids to lats to low back, etc., etc. So make sure you're doing that. Also, make sure that you, when you're doing arms, make sure you don't just focus on your bicep, because your bicep is very important, but most people forget that you have a backside to that muscle, which is called your tricep. And if you don't work your tricep, then you're gonna have it flapping in the wind. So make sure that you're paying attention to that. Safety first. You can read all of those things. If you're doing free weights, make sure you have a spotter. You don't want to get trapped underneath that weight. If you're a beginner, I suggest you use the machine weights first and then go to free weights. And if you do free weights, make sure that you do have a spotter again. Make sure you check your equipment. Make sure that everything's even. You have your clamps on. I once thought that I was doing deadlift with a certain weight, and then realized that I had bumped it up on accident, which caused me to kind of strain my back, because I thought that it was the weight that I should be lifting when it wasn't, which was my fault. I should have checked my equipment better. Making progress, make sure that you increase 5 to 10% when you find it to be easy, but don't increase if you don't find it to be easy. If you feel like you do need to increase the weight, then you definitely should by 5 to 10%. We'll talk about substance abuse later on in the semester, so I'm not really worried about that. Protein shakes, that seems to be a very popular topic. So please understand that you get your protein from daily diet. Unless you're a bodybuilder or you're an athlete or anything like that, protein shakes really aren't necessary. Because again, you're getting your protein if you're eating lean meat, chicken, beef, eggs, bacon, nuts, anything like that, you get it already. And if you're not careful, if you exceed a certain amount of protein, it will help you or make you gain weight, and sometimes people don't always understand that. If you put more protein in your body than you're burning off, or your body needs to regenerate muscle, then it will store it, and it will be stored as fat. So again, make sure that you're careful with the protein, because just because you're working out does not mean that you need a protein shake, unless you're trying to really truly grow or build muscle in a bigger capacity. So make sure you're keeping that in mind. Outside of all of that, I don't really have anything else to add to the PowerPoint. If you do have any questions, again, please give me a shout out.